Hey y'all, it's your girl Sia, and I'm back with another video. So, y'all, really quick, I was sitting here doing my hair and I've been watching YouTube. First of all, happy Thanksgiving to you guys. Mine went well. I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. I actually cooked for the first time for Thanksgiving in a very long time, so that was fun. I did not have my daughters, so I kind of just chillaxed. My daughter's father had some family come in, and so my daughter wanted to hang with them. And then she's gonna spend Christmas with me, right? So we do alternate in that regards. And I like to allow my daughter to go where she knows she's gonna have the most fun, right? Last year, as you guys know, it was a show, okay, in terms of Thanksgiving and what that looked like. So for me, this was pretty peaceful. I'm glad I got up and decided, because to be honest with you guys, my days were a bit mixed up. I thought Thanksgiving was Thanksgiving Eve, and so I went out on Thanksgiving Eve with the intent to cook on Thanksgiving Eve, but my understanding of the days were off. I even all day, because I did not go to work on Tuesday. Was no, I went to work on Tuesday. I didn't go to work on Wednesday. And the whole time I'm thinking it's the day before New Year's Eve. So I was kind of feeling a bit bad because I was like, man, I didn't even log in. But my instinct was like, go get some food, go get you a dinner. Because at first I was like, nah, I don't need all that. But the last thing I need to be doing is pulling up at a fast food joint trying to eat some food. I just feel like that's the most depressing. And for me, it's like, yeah, I don't want to hang out with family. I would much rather be by myself this Thanksgiving. And believe it or not, it was very, very peaceful. I also had time to braid up my hair so that my hair is ready for the colder weather, which that takes time because I don't like doing it all in one sitting unless someone else is doing my hair. Um, with that being said, you guys, I wanted to talk about manifesting money, right? And what that really looks like, because I know there's a lot of people that like to what's the word? They like to talk about manifestation as if it's this magical thing and all you need to do is think positive and do these steps and yada yada yada. But I don't think people really understand like the some of the laws behind money, right? Because money has certain laws that people should be abiding by, and the more I practice these laws in my life, the more abundant I am. I'm not exactly where I want to be yet. And I'm sure that that comes with a level of time, that comes with a level of practice and learn. It also comes with a level of just confidence within, right? Understanding that I am in control of my destiny and my reality, right? And the things that I can control, right? Because that's key. However, um making money, let me tell you guys something. It's only been in the last 4 going on 5 years now, I think, that or maybe 4, I have been able to manifest a certain level of money that I've never seen to manifest before. And I say seen because it's not that I couldn't, I just have a different level of understanding now. And it took a lot of years of learning from other people, learning from the mindsets of other people, being in impoverished situations, and then watching myself create something from nothing, right? Having to build a level of confidence and faith and belief not only in myself, but in God, right? So all of these things I've had to kind of go through the hard way, right? I remember being homeless, right? And not having a dollar to my name, right? And somehow having to get across town on the bus, right? And where the average person, some people, I don't even want to say it's the average person, some people would either not go where they had to go because the excuse is I don't have bus fare. Others may try to talk the bus driver into letting them on for free. However, I've always been the girl to understand that those opportunities will come slim to none. They come, don't get it twisted. I've been on a bus for free plenty of times, but these were times that really weren't expected, and it's not something that you can expect every single time you get on a bus, right? So these were times where I just didn't want to risk the opportunity or being told no, or the risk being told yes, or whatever, right? And I remember listening to, I can't remember who it is. I want to say it was either Tony Robbins or Abraham Hicks or Esther Hicks. That's Abraham Hicks. And I was thinking in my mind, I remember them saying how money comes, like, if you believe that you're wealthy, you are some crap like that, right? And so in my head, I remember having to train my brain to think that I had money when I really didn't have money. And it was funny because every time I would walk on a sidewalk, right, I would notice that I would, because I was the girl that never really attracted money like that. Okay. I never saw, like, I never saw money laying on the ground before. And I remember the thought processes that were being put in my head, which was, money can come from many sources and all these different things. But again, Abraham Hicks' message is a little different than Tony Robbins' message. So it's very difficult at the moment to tell you guys which one it was, but just know I was listening to both at the time, okay? And I remember, really learning that money, what Abraham Hicks would teach me, and I would know this for sure. Abraham Hicks would teach me that money comes to me, right? And it flows through me. So, meaning that it comes to me, it's just a tool, right? That's what Tony Robbins teaches. It's a tool, right? And then you realize, okay, well, it's supposed to come to me and then flow through me, which means that it's never really mine to hold on to, right? It's always coming to me. Don't get it twisted, but it's always leaving my hands or whatever for exchange, in exchange for something else, right? So understanding that money is a tool, right? Was the biggest thing that I had to learn. It's a tool. It's not a God to be worshiped. It's not anything else besides a tool, just like a wrench is, right? If you were doing in your toolbox, let's put it that way. So for me, it was okay. I'm learning that money is a tool. What that did is it took away the whole wow factor behind money, right? Is understanding that this is used to get to where I gotta go, but it's meant to leave my hands in some form or fashion, right? And the reason that is because you need, like, one thing I learned, right, is when you live in a level of scarcity, right? And I lived in a level of scarcity, at least in my mind, right? There were times where I had money, but I didn't understand the value of money, the true value of money. So I would splurge it all, right? And to be fair, depending on how my bank account looks, sometimes I may splurge and sometimes I don't, right? It just depends. However, I know now the difference between me then and me now is I know how to make that money before I spend it. I know how to make that money back up before I spend it, right? Whereas before, I didn't understand that at all. Right? I would splurge the money and then it'd be gone. And then I'd be like, come on now. Like, what do I do next? Right? Stuck. Right? And I had to learn, because I was living with a scarcity mindset. I had to learn that money is not everything, right? Money is not um it's not a toy, it's a tool. That makes sense. I'll not explain it. One day I'll get better at explaining it, because it's hard to explain. I just know what I'm thinking. So I had to learn throughout time, right, that I had to be okay, because my biggest thing, and this was my biggest challenge, I had my first place at 17, right? I didn't have as much struggle with my first place as I did my third place, okay? And what would tend to happen, well, maybe not my third place, I take that back. I would spend my money on folks and not have no money to pay my bills, not have no money to do anything, because I was so in the moment wanting to spend money on stuff, on people, and not spending it on my priorities. And my mindset always was is that I will never have enough to do the things that I want to go do, right? I want to go do things now. In my mind, again, I did not value what I had at that time. But I learned, right? But at that time, I didn't know, I didn't understand. Okay. So everything was being paid outside of my bills, right? And I remember thinking to myself, especially then, is like, again, my mindset was more in scarcity mode, more like, well, this is the first time I've seen this chunk of change in a long time, like ever, like not really knowing the value and the importance of what I had, or how to be responsible with what I had, right? And so I splurged it all. And I had to learn that one, that's irresponsible. It was irresponsible of me. But two, that this idea that I will be without, that I will never have enough, that's a weird, it's not a true mindset. Does that make sense? It's not a realistic mindset. However, I didn't know no better. I didn't have people in my life to teach me any different. So I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm shining now because I spent my money on all this materialistic stuff, and yet I don't have a roof over my head. That to me is a big problem, right? So I learned that money was a tool, right? And I learned that it was, because the key is in understanding that money is currency, right? It's just a currency. And the current is energy. So it's really all about what I'm willing to give. Like, it's all about energy. So if energy is something that flows through me, within me, right? Is it possible for me to manipulate those energies? And the answer is yes. And in this particular case, there's no such thing as right or wrong. I may be using the wrong words. However, manipulate, I feel like, fits what I'm talking about, right? The description. So when you hear people say, right, and I'm giving y'all the understanding, the breakdown of this. When you hear people say, well, you should think positive, right? It's not that you should think positive because that's the only way to think. Is you should think positive because the more positivity the more you're in, what is Abraham Hicks says it best, the more you're in a flow of things, right? So it's not positivity necessarily, it's the idea of peace. The more you're in flow and in peace with your life, the more things are able to come in. And believe it or not, we're living in the times where things are coming in rapidly, they're coming in fast. So if you understand that, okay, what I allow into my reality dictates overall my success, right? If you're able to understand that your mindset determines really, it's like an anchor, right? You have to be grounded. That's that term for groundedness. It's like an anchor. If your mindset is on point, you're able to attract everything you can to you. That includes money. So if I'm in a space where I'm always thinking I can't, money can't come, money can't come, money can't come, then it's never gonna come. That's just the reality of the circumstance. If my mindset is more fixated on, hey, I don't know how, but I know this is about to happen, and then you take the necessary steps, whether it be just walking outside, right? Something as simple as that. You never know. There may be a $20 bill on the ground. You never freaking know. I used to find dollar bills when I didn't have money for the bus. It was funny because I had a job and I was able to catch the bus to my job. Every morning I would find a couple dollars, a couple cents down on the ground. And I started picking up every penny that I came across when I was homeless because I knew that the universe was trying to give me something. God was trying to tell me I'm here, but I had to get to a point where I was ready to truly receive. Do you understand me? So every penny I came across, again, I picked this up from one of the gurus, right? And I say Tony Robbins or Abraham Hicks because there's only really one of them two. I would come across every penny and I would pick it up and just say, thank you, God. Before you knew it, I had a piggy bank full of pennies, right? But because of my thanks, because of my gratitude, I began to find a dollar bill, maybe $1.60, right? A dollar. And so I was able to utilize that to get to where I needed to be. Wasn't easy. I had to have a lot of faith getting up every morning, hoping to find money. But it wasn't a hope. It was more like, okay, if I do, I do. If I don't, then I'm gonna have to figure it out type deal. I'm gonna have to let them know, like, hey, can you help me out? People are willing, believe it or not, where I live, there people are friendly enough to help out. Okay. So I would have found a way, right? But I was willing to take that risk to just get up out of bed and get dressed in hopes that maybe God heard my prayer. And it was like that for a couple of days at least. Um, and then it was interesting because I kept the same pattern up. And I remember going into a Family Dollar, my first time ever finding a $20 bill. I found it in the candy section, okay, which was very odd to me, but I pocketed it. It was not near the cashier and there was no folks around. Therefore, my assumption is nobody knew this $20 bill was here. However, it was right in front of the candies that I planned on purchasing anyway. And so therefore I pocketed it. It was my first time ever finding big money or bigger than $1 or some change, right? So these are the things that I began to utilize and practice. Again, being grateful um, for any level of money. Now, when I come across a penny, I don't see too many pennies, if that makes sense. I don't. I'm not on the bus now, right? So there's a lot of, I'm sure, change that I done passed up, but I at least let God know I see it and I'm grateful. Now, if it's some silver, I'm picking it up. Damn it. As long as it looks clean enough, right? But as far as pennies, nah. You'll see me just kind of in my mind. I thank God. I see them. I keep remembering and I move the fuck on with my day. Okay. Um, One thing that I learned along my journey is I came across a lady, she was Spanish. And I remember she was a beautiful woman and she was in her 40s. And I couldn't remember what in my mind, I couldn't for the life of me wonder why, right? She had so much money, she was attracting all these sales to her because at the time I was in sales and I just wasn't that good. I mean, I was good, but I wasn't that good. And so I'm wondering, how the heck is this lady attracting so much sales to her, right? And she pulls me in, she takes me under her wing, and she was really like my homegirl, believe it or not. And it sucks when you're dealing with Spanish families because there are a lot of Spanish people who are racist, okay? Believe it or not. And so you may get along with the generation that can speak English, but you don't get along, but the parents, they know their parents will not accept you. And so there's only so far of accepting that you can go with these kinds of people, if that makes sense, because of the level of racism that they do have within their culture and within their family. And so I'm thinking in my head and in my mind, okay, this lady's gonna teach me, yada yada yada. And I was real excited. And I remember asking her about how she's able to maintain her life and do all these things. And a lot of times when I hear with these types of women, because, and I'm not saying types in terms of race, I'm talking about types in terms of caliber, because she's a different kind. It's the woman who gets married, but the marriage somehow fails and she's stuck raising the kids by herself, and now she's got to hustle to make ends meet type deal, right? And so what she told me was that when you keep money, you'll always have it. So meaning that when you keep, let's say it's 500, 1,000, 2,000, 10,000, 40,000, the more money you attract to you. And I know that to be true. And I'm going to give you guys a little bit of understanding here. There's more to all of this than what I'm saying, but I'm giving you guys these stories so you understand where my train of thought comes from, right? The idea behind keeping money helps to lessen the idea of the scarcity of money. So meaning that if I'm always in the idea, like I said, that I don't have, because it's very difficult, right? You can think positive all you want to, but if you don't believe what you're saying, you know, you know, I said it, you need to take a level, you need to have a level of belief, right? And so if you don't have faith and all you're saying is, well, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, and you're saying these things without believing them, understand that the universe is not going to speak to what you're telling yourself over and over and over again. The universe is going to speak to what's in your heart and what you know and believe to truly be true. So it don't matter how positive you freaking think if you don't believe what it is that you're saying. And one of the things that I find very difficult is pretending that I got $1 million in the bank, knowing damn well I don't even have a bank. You see what I'm saying? So the entire premises behind keeping money so that you make money is to ensure that your mind is always like, I can do that. I got that. I can make, like, let me be clear. I know that I'm in a field of finance is technically. I mean, I'm in tax, right? I do accounting, so it's quote unquote professional services, right? It's to help build wealth and business health, right? And so for me personally, if you can imagine, the things that I've learned have only helped to amplify and increase my finances over time. This month has been the largest month that I've seen in my life, okay, in terms of income. And I am really proud of myself for that. but it was not easy. It's taken a very long time. Well, maybe, I mean, not long, long in my mind, but not long as far as the big picture is concerned. But it took a very long time to understand that that scarcity mindset will have you hurting. You ever hear someone say, well, I'm broke, right? I'm broke, I'm broke, I'm broke, and he, it's just a joke, but I'm broke. That ain't a joke, and words are nothing to play with. So if you're always saying, well, I'm broke, I'm broke, I'm broke, well, yes, the fuck you are. The universe is only telling you yes. Shout out to Abraham Hicks. That's something I really learned from her. Is yes. The universe is always telling me yes. So if I think negatively and I'm using words like I'm broke, hence spelling, right? And I'm casting spells on myself, I'm always broke. But if I tell myself, let me tell you guys, in 2020, 2021, maybe into 21, yeah, 21, I spent the majority of 2021 indulging myself in most yeses as possible. So meaning that if I wanted it, I went out and made it happen. But I also ensured that I had enough money to do everything else that I needed to do, and or I ensured, excuse me, that my responsibilities first were taken care of. Then I went out and played. So understand this, right? And I want you guys to really hear me on this. Your mindset when you're dealing with finances, and honestly, it's everything in the world, because the mindset follows you no matter where you're at, no matter what you're doing and dealing with. And the more you raise your vibration or your elevation or whatever it's called, the more you will attract. Okay, it just is what it is. So the premises behind having money in a bank account or in crypto or in stocks or whatever is simply to say, you know what, I got it. Meaning that if I need a loan or I need extra income, I can pull from these other resources, right? Because I can do it. I got it. You see what I'm saying? Just as being grateful for the money that you bring in is very, 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 very important. Being grateful for everything is very, 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 very important. That is part of abundance. That is part of being abundant. Now, let's see. What else has helped me in my time? I would say, y'all, to keep it a buck with you guys, I believe that those are the core values that I want to share right now. I feel like I had one more, but I can't remember it off the top of my head anymore. And I don't know that I had one more. I feel like I touched on everything. But understand that, oh, another thing is a lot of people limit themselves to what they'll spend their money on. So, like me, I'm going to tell you guys now, only certain things I refuse to limit myself on. Meaning that when it comes to the types of makeup that I have, and the types of perfume that I utilize, I absolutely refuse to settle on the quality and or the name brand of such, right? Those are things for me are just no bueno. We're not negotiating that. If I want a Dior perfume, I'm getting me a Dior perfume. If I want a nice piece of jewelry, right? Because we're not settling for fake stuff. If it's a diamond, I'm buying and I want it, right? So certain things I do not allow myself to say no to. But I do that so that I understand that it's all about quality over quantity, meaning that if you invest in quality, you're likely to limit the quantity of. I ensure that the clothes in my closet are things that I can wear no matter where I'm at. So meaning that if I'm at an event, I can doll up and dress it up, or I can dress it down, right? I have dresses, I got pants, I got all types of different types of shoes, mainly black, mainly brown, tan, cream, white, right? Colors that are neutral and that I can pair with many different items in my closet. This way, my costs are down, right? I do live currently below my means, and I'm grateful for that because let me tell y'all, it's not easy to find places that would even accept you below your means. Okay. They want to charge you 2 times, three, four, 5 times the rent, or whatever. I got a small little cozy little place that's nice for me, right? And I save where I can save, and I don't limit myself because to me that's living in a scarcity mindset. If I want more, I know I got to make more. And if I want to be able to keep more, I got to make more. So that's my take on it, you guys. I'm probably going to do a follow up on this because I know that there's something that I'm missing, but I can't think of it for now. So that's all I got to say. Happy Friday to y'all. I'm out. Peace.